More minutes until Shabbat starts. So shall we listen to one more song as we wait for those that are joining us?
אילו פינו מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כאיילות ואילו פינו מלא מלא שיר הקיים ולשוננו רינה וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים ורגלינו קלות כיילות אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלך מלכי המלכים מלך מלכי המלכים מלך מלכי המלכים אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך ולברך את שמך מלכנו
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I hear myself coming back. No, we're fine. So scared. So we are ready to start our Kabbalat Shabbat. One of the beautiful midrashim written about Shabbat teaches that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai used to say that Shabbat went and complained to God. He said that Sunday has Monday, Tuesday has Wednesday, Thursday have Fridays, and Shabbat was created without a mate. And Kadosh Baruch Hu, God said to Shabbat that the people of Israel is going to be your Yedid Nefesh, your soulmate. So we start our Kabbalat Shabbat on page 636, acknowledging this partnership, this soulmate. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It is so nice that Shabbat appears once again in the last minute to save our souls, to remind us that we have a soul. And if you didn't have a minute during your week to stop and to say, here I am, and I hope you do, and I hope you did. But if you didn't, right now is Shabbat. Right now we take this gift of time for our souls, to remind ourselves that we are creations, that we are divine creatures, and to reconnect ourselves with the creation of the world. We will start our Shabbat gathering and celebration together, lighting Shabbat candles. The blessing for the Shabbos candles, you can find it on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner להדליק נר של שבת. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, Gavi. Shabbat Shalom, Noga. Shabbat Shalom, Zach. And we also take a moment to acknowledge all those that are joining us on Facebook and YouTube. And as we start our Shabbat, we sing from the Song of the Songs, Ani ledodi bedodi li. I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. We are on page 129. Let's walk toward the encounter with the divine. Let's walk with joy toward the encounter with the divine. We are on page 130.
לכו נרננה לאדוני נריע נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו, הלילה כי גדול אדוני ומודע מאוד, לא ראו על כבוד אלוהים, איי איי איי, מכל אלוהי עמים אלילים, באדוני שמיים עשה, עוד רעה לפניו, עופר תפארת במקדשו, ישמח בשמיים את הארץ, הלילה היא המים, ומלוא ינוס עליי, בכל אשר הוא שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שבת שלום.
It grows dark. I light 2 candles and drink a sip of wine. And the world is transformed. The world changes for one day. If I let it, there will be music and friendship and food if I allow it. There will be Torah and wisdom and godness if I permit it. There will be quiet and napping and deep rest. If I am open to it, there will be study and expansion and new ideas. If I consent to it, there will be prayer and blessings and meditations. If I give into it, there will be hope and renewal, Shir Chadash, and clarity. If I walk toward it, if I let it, if I allow it, if I permit it, if I open upon it, if I consent to it, if I give into it, if I walk toward it. The world, the entire world, changes for one day if I allow it, if you say it, if we sing it. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. We welcome Shabbat with melodious song. We become attentive to the sounds of our souls, of our spirits, and we bring to them into our song, Sambru La Adonai. You're on page 134.
Sambru l'Adonai bechinot v'kozim lo b'chatzotzot v'kol shofar
as we keep moving through the Psalms that help us to walk into Shabbat. Psalm 29, Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid, avu l'Adonai ben elim, avu l'Adonai kavod v'ahos, avu l'Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai be'adot kodesh, kol Adonai al ma'im, elim Adonai al ma'im, al ma'im, al ma'im rabim, al ma'im, al ma'im, al ma'im rabim. Kol Adonai b'koach, kol Adonai be'adar, kol Adonai שובר ארסים, וישבר אדוני את ארצי הלבנון, ויגידם כמו עגל לבנון, בציון כמו בנים, כמו בנים. כל אדוני חוצב לבוקש, כל אדוני יחיל מדבר, יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יכול לילות, ויחשוף יערות, ובקרו כולו מרכבות, ובחלו כולו מרכבות, ובחלו כולו מרכבות. אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם. אדוני עוש לעמו ייתן. God will give us strength, and God will bless us with wholeness and with integrity. אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, את עמו, את עמו, את עמו בשלום. התעוררי, התעוררי. Awaken, awaken, wake up, awaken within us, among us, the light of Shabbat, the light of your presence, so we can see the embodiment of your sacred spirit. We are on page 138, Lecha Dodi.
Shema
open together will be spread over us. ימינו שמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על ידי איש בפחציר ונשמחה בין הגילה איי 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 לך אדוני איי 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 לקראת קלה איי רק בני שבת לקבלה איי 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 לך אדוני איי 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 לקראת קלה איי איי בני שבת לקבלה בואי ושלום התרת בנה גם בשמחה ובצורה צוך אמוני העם סגולה בואי קלה בואי קלה איי 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 לך אדוני איי 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 לקראת קלה איי איי בני שבת Now that we have welcomed Shabbat, we take a moment to welcome, to acknowledge each other's presence. So we encourage you, we invite you to say Good Shabbos in our chat on Facebook or YouTube, and to acknowledge each other's presence. As we turn our Sidurim to page 140, forget one more song to Shabbat, Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat, Psalm 92.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך
Page 144, חצי קדיש. יתגדל ויתקדש שמר רבם, באלמד יברכותה, בימליך מלכותה, בחייכון ובימיכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ביתו אמן. בנשמר אבם מבורך בהולם מולו והמיה יתברך וישתבח יתפאר מתרומם מתנשא ביתהדר ביתהלה בהתהלל שמד קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל מלשתה בשירתה תושבחתה בנחמתה תמידם בעלמה באמרו אמן. We turn our sidurim to page 146 as we enter Tfilat Arvit Shel Shabbat, and we take a moment to look around and to acknowledge that we have a minyan, that even when you are virtually present, you are here, and we count on you and on each other, and that each of us counts. Doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter your skin color, you count, we count.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in the heavenly courses according to plan. ומביא יום ומהביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך שמו, אמרי ורבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. Everlasting love you offer to your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night, we will reflect on them. For they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Dear God, never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, forevermore Israel. I invite you to close your eyes for a moment, and before going to the Shema, trying to capture an image, a thought, something that makes you feel deeply loved. And as we might find a clear image, I invite you to, in your imagination, to transform that image in a light that surrounds you. And as you are surrounded by that everlasting light, that everlasting love, I invite you to take a deep breath. And as you breathe, you bring that light into your body, into your spirit. Once again, take a deep breath. And we become one. We're on page 152.
Shema Yisrael
We continue on page 154 with Ve'ahavta. Please join me. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם נאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת
מת באמונה כל סוד וקיים עלינו כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו בן זולתו אנחנו ישראל עמו
ראו בניו גבורתו, שפכו ובדו לשמו, ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים, ובני ישראל לך אנו שירה, ובשמחה רבה אמרו כולם. When your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices with joy. Who is like you, O God? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. We are on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני
מי כמוך נהדר בקודש
מי כמוך באלים אדוני
מי כמוך נהדר בקודש
תורה תהילות עושה פלא תורה תהילות עושה פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקר הים לפני משה ומרים מלכותך ראו בניך בוקר הים לפני משה ומרים צבי אנו בימינו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ונאמר כיף אדוני את יעקב וידו ביד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גואל ישראל.
Praise are you, Adonai, Redeemer of Israel. You know, as we conclude the blessings before and after the Shema, and we move into Ashkiveinu, which is the blessing for our internal peace. I met 3 different friends this week that say, Nico, when you say that we are praying for our internal peace, you need to be thinking about me. Like, I really need that internal peace for different reasons, like each of them for different reasons. Some of them because of the extension and the length of the quarantine, some of them because of challenges in their work, in their work. And the interesting thing is that finding inner peace is not an event but a constant challenge. That we are all the time being moved by things that happen to us. And one of the things that we try to do in order to find that inner peace is to reassure our foundations. Try to define what's the meaning of shelter for us. What are the things that help us find that peace? We're on page 160 for our creative rendition to Ashkivenu, followed by the words of Ashkivenu.
I lay under the moon, thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomeinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomeinu lechaim, ufos aleinu. Sukat shomecha, ותקבלנו בעצה טובה מלפניך. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for, Eloheinu leshalom, not one fight no more, no more wars, and the children will pray. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day,
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Amidenu shomrenu lechaim. ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו, על כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים. Blessed are you, Adonai, garden of peace. The shelter of love is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over your holy city, the city of Shalom, Yerushalayim. Says Achad Am, more than the Jewish people have kept Shabbat, the Shabbat has kept the Jewish people. It is a covenant among generations. לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין, the children of Israel, between me and the children of Israel. ישמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
אוהב אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
We now turn our Sidurim to page 164. We acknowledge how difficult it is sometimes to find silence and to find communal silence for prayer when we are standing or sitting in different rooms. So we want to encourage you to deal with that challenge, to follow the words of our tradition and try to find your Tfilah Shebalev, the prayer of your heart, within those words, or just to take 2 minutes and to be silent and try to think about what is your Shabbos prayer, what are the things that you really need to focus on, what are the places in which you really need to place your energies. Page 164.
אדוני, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
אתה קידש. לאחרונה שאתה לא אלוהינו, עבדנו ומתנו, לא חיינו מגן שלנו, אתה ולדור ובדור, נודה לך ונפל תלותך, אל נעשה לי לידך ולשוק. שלום רב על ישראל, עמך תשים לב לך, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. We are at the bottom of page 180.
Shalom aleinu, velkom
after Filat Amidah, it is our tradition, and so it is in many other Reform congregations, to add a prayer for healing, to add Misheberach. A few weeks ago, a rabbi in the community invited us to participate in an initiative in which we pray for healing of the wider community. We recognize that our world is in need of healing, so many rabbis and cantors sang David Friedman's Misheberach together, and Gabi participated in that initiative, and other congregations will be streaming the video of that prayer, that communal prayer tonight, and so we will as well. So as we go into that video, Gabi, you are not muted, just for you to know. And as we go into that communal prayer, Zach will stream that video with Misheberach, and we say, as we always say, that we think of essential workers, we think of those in the front lines, we think of doctors, nurses, we think of people that are helping in all the different areas of hospitals and houses for elderly. We think of those dealing with illness in their bodies, in their souls. We think of people dealing with addictions, as together we raise our prayer on page 371 for Misheberach. We wish to all those that are dealing with illness, refuah shlema, והחלמה מהירה, a complete and a fast recovery. Now that we finished praying for healing, Gabby, that was beautiful. We should say, I can't imagine what your mom is saying in the chat in YouTube, you know. But she should be proud. She should be proud.
Mom, I'm sorry if you cried. I'm sorry.
It's always and you know, and all these voices singing and praying for healing. I'm a believer that our voices can share healing energy. So it's actually very comforting to hear this. This is not the first time I hear this, and I was touched once again. So thank you for participating and for adding your voice to this prayer for healing for all those that need these prayers. Okay, so Parashat Ashavua, Parashat Be'alotecha, describes a complex situation for our rabbi, Moses. At the end of the Torah portion, we read that the Israelites start once again to complain about food, being bored with the repetition, and they say that they yearn for the variety of food, the variety of flavors that they had in Egypt. They literally miss Mitzrayim, Egypt. And Moses cries out to God saying, why should I deal with this? Am I their mother that I need to nurse them and carry them and feed them? Moses is literally fed up. And God says, trying to help him to calm down, he says that he will feed them and he will give them meat until it comes out of their nostrils. And indeed, this is what happened. Now, looking at this situation from a broader perspective, this is a moment in which Moses finally internalizes what Jethro has said to him, that he wasn't going to be able to do it all alone. And here is Moses saying that this is too heavy for him to carry along. God responds by asking Moses to appoint 70 individuals that will be given the divine spirit, so they will be able to help him as they continue in their journey. However, just a few verses later in our parsha, Aaron and Miriam, Moses' two senior partners, start to complain to God as well. They say, how it can be that Moses has married a woman who is not from the Israelite people, that she is not from our tribes. And why does he get to talk to you directly when we experience your presence in such a different way? God summons Aaron and Miriam and Moses and explains that Moses is a different case. And when he speaks to Moses, he speaks pe el pe, mouth to mouth. Whereas with all the rest of the prophets, including Aaron and Miriam, he communicates through dreams. When God concludes his appearance and leaves, the cloud withdraws from the tent, and all of a sudden, Miriam becomes terribly ill with tzaraat, a horrifying disease. Aaron, who just minutes ago was upset with Moses and with Moses' status of kind of superiority in the eyes of God, he now appeals to Moses' privilege in the eyes of God and says to him, you must pray for her. Don't let her die in this horrible way. Now, the reason Miriam became ill so suddenly was because she was gossiping, and so was Aaron. They were being punished by God on account of that. But now there's no time to keep discussing, and Aaron begs to Moses to intervene this situation. Most of the commentaries say that Moses immediately cries out, screams to God, and prays for his sister. Rabbi Shai held, in his commentary to this Torah portion, brings the opinion of Rabbi Jacob Milgrom, who is a Bible scholar, conservative rabbi, who says that Moses is conflicted. He explains that Moses is quite exhausted. He still remembers the fact that Aaron allowed for the golden calf event to happen and never took much responsibility for his actions. He still remembers that the two of them were just a few moments ago gossiping against him, and that this happened a moment after he himself reached exhaustion and the bottom. Milgrom explains that the words that Moses used, Elna refana la, please God, heal her, without even mentioning Miriam's name, are not concise because of the urgency of the situation, as most commentators think, but rather do his conflicted feelings. An interesting parallel to this situation that Moses might be experiencing can be found in the book of Job. Job not only had to go through the most difficult challenges orchestrated by God, but also experienced the harsh misjudgment of his friends, his neighbors. Toward the end of the book, in chapter 48, God commands the neighbors to bring everything needed to make an offering so they can pray for forgiveness. But then he declares that he will not forgive them if they do the prayers and the offerings themselves. So they make the first offering, and then he says, I will forgive you if Job prays for you. Now, Job's ultimate redemption comes when, despite his probably very difficult feelings and internal conflicts, he gathers the ability to pray for his neighbors that have misjudged him. Just like Job, with his wounds still open, Moshe prayed for his sister. Many conversations have been going on in the Jewish community over the last couple of weeks around the Black Lives Matter movement. While I don't know one Jew who isn't opposed to racism and who doesn't feel a deep connection with the injustice that the African American community experiences, many of us feel deeply conflicted with the Black Lives Matter movement. Many of us, myself included, felt deeply hurt by the expressions supported by this movement against Israel. There is an article that was published in The Atlantic in 2016, you can Google it, that summarizes several of the responses that the Jewish community then offered. But over the last couple of weeks, many rabbis and thinkers have been writing about their position regarding how to navigate this tension. I have had the opportunity to speak with several people across political and religious denominations that feel that because of this statement, supporting this organization would be almost as betraying their own love for the state of Israel. But here, in this conflict, internal conflict that some of us are experiencing, is where I think that Moses' leadership, just like Job's decision, should be an inspiration for all of us. Moses is very likely heartbroken. He's certainly hurt, and he's probably angry about what his sister said. Yet, there is no doubt in his words. We might be angry about the statements that were made about Israel. But when the urgency of now is happening, Moses doesn't say, first, I want to have a conversation with Miriam to see if she can get past her accusation, past what she has said about me. Moses understands that his identity cannot be defined by his reaction to his sister, but rather by his actions. And so he says, Elna refana la. Please, God, please heal her. The Torah tells us that he screams. Moses is loud and clear. And in the same way, our prayer should be loud and clear. Yes, we have difficulties. Yes, we were hurt. Yes, there is a space to talk about this. But there is no doubt in Moses and Job's actions that when the right thing needs to be done, the right thing needs to be done. And when this comes about, it doesn't matter how, and it doesn't matter if your wounds are still open. The definition of principle is a fundamental truth that serves as the foundation for a system of belief. It's a fundamental truth that serves as the foundation for a system of belief. We have many fundamental truths that serve as the foundation of our identity. That all humans were created in the image of God, that justice you shall pursue, that we should remember that we were strangers in the land of Egypt, that we should care for the oppressed in our society. Staying true to them is the meaning of being loyal to our tradition, and so to the state of Israel. And so without denying our challenges or conversations that we would like to have, or even the fact that many of us feel that we have been misjudged, we will have the time to deal with all those later. Right now, our voices and our prayer should be very clear. We don't need to sugarcoat that prayer by saying that every life matters, or that every other life matters as well. Right now, it is Elna Refana La. It is Miriam's life that is at stake. Right now, in our society, Black lives are at stake. Black people are experiencing fear and oppression. And therefore, our voice, our prayer should be clear. And we should loudly say that Black lives matter. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We will continue our service on page 598 with Mourners Kaddish. We invite you to share the names of your dear ones, those that you are remembering in this night of Shabbat, in our chat. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva. If you are during the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim. If you are during the first year of mourning. If you have a yortzeit this week, if you remember someone who has passed away around this week in years past, please share their names. Bring them to our community. With those names in our hearts and our minds, we rise for Mourners Kaddish. We rise in our legs, in our spirit. We're on page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
בעלמא דברה חילותה, בימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומיכון, וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, באמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי אלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי דקודשה בריחו, אלא מן כל ברכתה ושילתה. ושלחתה ונחמתה, למירם בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יש למרבה מן שמיה, וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be a living blessing in your life. יהיה זכרם ברוך. We are now getting closer to the end of our service. We turn our Sidurim to page 142 for Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Yasharet, Malachei
הוגבלו השמיים, בארץ וכל צבאם. ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, לכבוד שבת מכל מלאכתו שברא אלוהים לעשות. Now we know that we introduced this melody about 3 months ago. So let's try at home. If you already know the nigun, and if you know the nigun, you can write in the comments that you do. And if you still don't know it, come on, this is time to learn it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'rotav banu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava ufratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadish HaShabbat.
לחיים. Before we leave this virtual sanctuary, we make sure that we connect with each other, that we acknowledge each other's names and presence in Facebook and YouTube and in this virtual room. And we share the blessings and the millennial words of love of our tradition that have been shared and transferred from generation to generation. May God bless you and protect you. May God's light shine upon you and may God be gracious to you. יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישים לכם Shalom. May God's presence be within you always and may God bless you with peace. Shabbat Shalom everyone. Shabbat Shalom everyone. Shabbat Shalom.